Let's take a brief look at the Gage Ninja Pack DLC. This was the 10th paid weapon pack released for Payday 2, and marked the end of Gage's hiatus as our weapons dealer. This DLC's main focus was adding shinobi-themed weaponry brought back by Gage from Japan, which is why our first weapon is from Germany, the Leobens Auger 308 sniper rifle, based on the rare WA-2000. Just shy of 200 of these were ever produced, so I question how Gage got his hands on a seemingly limitless supply. Regardless, this weapon's stats are intriguing, offering a rather high rate of fire, for a sniper anyways, and 10 bullets in the mag. The Leobens Auger makes for a good sniper at practically any range. You can pump out shots very quickly in close quarters, and the accuracy can be maximized with minimal skill investment for distance. The stock scope has excellent zoom, although upon firing the scope will sway back and forth in a bit of a distracting manner. Like all snipers, the Leobens Auger can shoot clean through thin walls and shields. While this weapon's base damage is fairly low for a sniper rifle at any rate, silencer skills or frenzy can fix this, or if you prefer, crits. While the default concealment is average at best, modifications can shape the Leobens Auger into a dodge-viable piece of weaponry. Granted, if you want the full effects of Sneaky Bastard and Low Blow, you'll have to ace them, as even in the absolute best case scenario for concealment, the Leobens Auger will not allow you to dip below 5 detection risk. What really kills the sniper for me, however, is the horrendous reload speed, clocking in at over 6 seconds. I cannot recommend acing aggressive reload enough to dramatically speed up this weapon's crippling reloads. All of the problems with the Leobens Auger can be fixed with skills. However, spending all your skill points to make a weapon not suck is my job. Some better options that require far fewer skills to succeed on high difficulties, in a dodge build or otherwise, include the Contractor or Grom. Moving over to the secondary slot, we have the Vertex SMG, quite clearly based on the Chris Vector. In real life, this weapon sports a fascinating counter recoil mechanism, which translates in-game to the Vertex's high base stability, a statistic which is a must-have when you're clocking in at 1,200 RPM. The Vertex spews a monstrous amount of bullets at lightning speeds, shredding near anything in its path. However, at a mere 30 bullets per magazine and no modifications to fix that, frequent reloads are guaranteed. Thankfully, the Vertex's reloads aren't excruciating in length. You'll want to invest in modifications and skills to boost this weapon's accuracy, or you'll find yourself expunging your reserves on any cops more than 10 feet away. Speaking of, I'd highly recommend basic or even aced fully loaded when using this SMG. While the ammo economy isn't exactly what I'd call lacking, a rate of fire this high will likely drain your ammo faster than you can replenish it. This makes the Vertex, in my opinion, a tricky weapon to use. If you have the right skills, fire in controlled bursts, and stay away from tasers, this SMG will be a capable choice. Although, if a dodge build is what you seek, the extraordinarily compact Micro Uzi will return better results with a matching rate of fire. And now for arguably one of the weirdest weapons in Payday 2, the pistol crossbow. This weapon is seemingly based on the Avalanche Pistol Grip Tactical 50-pound crossbow, which you can actually buy for yourself off of Amazon for a mere $15, although it's reviewed rather poorly. The in-game representation, as I mentioned, is a very strange weapon indeed. It's a crossbow, not a firearm, meaning you can only fire a single bolt before reloading. Thankfully, the pistol crossbow is one of the swiftest base reload speeds in the game, clocking in at just over a second. The bolt does 350 damage, which should one-shot most targets in the head on Mayhem and below, but mandates further damage beyond that. Crits are a viable option for this crossbow, as it sports high concealment when modified. This, in combination with its inherently silent nature, also makes it an option for stealth, although I'd argue it's a bit unwieldy under that circumstance. Like all bow and crossbow type weaponry, the bolts fired from this weapon will stick around, and can be picked back up to reuse. This is a boon for the pistol crossbow in particular, as it only has 25 shots in reserve, half of, for comparison, what the light crossbow from the Chivalry pack comes with. To be honest, if you want to use a crossbow, you're likely better off with the light crossbow anyways. That isn't to say the pistol crossbow is useless, just a bit outclassed. Still, if you are dead set on using it, you could choose to load it with explosive bolts. While sacrificing any sneaky approach this crossbow may have spearheaded, explosive bolts will detonate on contact with any surface. This makes it a concealed option for dealing with crowds of enemies or shields, although not as effective as a shotgun loaded with HE rounds, as a weapon like that can refill itself via ammo drops. Explosive bolts cannot be retrieved upon firing for obvious reasons. Poisoned bolts, however, can be, while reducing the pistol crossbow's damage substantially. Upon hitting a target, even through body armor, that target will become poisoned. Poison will deal damage over time for 6 seconds. This makes it an effective choice for a grinder build to trigger that perk deck's healing effects. There is also a chance poisoned enemies will be stunned, puking their guts out. Whether or not sacrificing first shot lethality for damage over time and a possible stun is worth it is based on the difficulty you're playing on and your personal preference. So, if you want a crossbow in the secondary slot, you've got no other choice. But the pistol crossbow is by no means terrible, just a bit difficult to get used to. Moving on to the throwable slot, we have Shurikens, a unique throwable in every aspect. You get 10 of these ninja stars and can pick them back up after throwing them. While they only deal 100 damage base, they'll also poison targets upon contact. Unlike other poison weaponry, Shurikens are guaranteed to stun the enemies they strike. Shurikens are completely silent, making them a great throwable for stealth, similarly to Ace of Spades. At the very least, it's a good way to ensure you won't accidentally spoil your run with a stray grenade. In loud, more often than not, I'd prefer explosives over Shurikens, but they do have their uses. They can complement less ammo-efficient weapons in the event you run dry on ammo. Shurikens can also be used for silent kills when bringing loud weaponry, for pseudo-stealth situations like counterfeit, and the poison effect again is complementary in grinder builds, although I'd prefer Molotovs myself. Overall, an interesting and fun throwable, although their effectiveness depends on your build and situation. Let's move on to the melee weapons. We have 4 of them as per usual: the empty palm kata, the Okinawan style sai, the talons, and the kunai knife. The first 3 weapons, while visually appealing, are not nearly as interesting as the kunai. The kunai has maximum melee concealment and a swift strike speed, making it ideal for a dodge build. However, the real kicker of this knife is injecting poison into your victims. Unlike the other poison-infused weaponry the Ninja Pack has to offer, the kunai's poison lasts a single second as opposed to 6, meaning it's not nearly as effective at triggering grinder. Still, if you want a concealed melee that deals quite a bit of damage and is likely to stun enemies, the kunai will offer you just that. And finally, a look at the masks, being Kage, Kurozukun, Shirai, and Slicer. All of these masks are on point stylistically, and I appreciate the TMNT reference. Well, that's about it. So, was the Gage Ninja Pack a good addition? Absolutely. While a few of these weapons have since been outclassed by more recent variants, they can, for the most part, still hold their own. And even beyond discussion pertaining to practicality, the creativity and entertainment values of these additions cannot go overlooked. Poison is a novel concept that I wish more weaponry would make use of. Shurikens were the first silent throwable, and the pistol crossbow was the first weapon of its kind. So, in my eyes, despite the weaponry, the Leobens Auger in particular, having since fallen from grace, I can't discount the value of the Ninja Pack. It was, and in many respects still is, one of the most interesting and fun additions to Payday 2. Thanks for watching, and take it easy.